Hi, I'm MysteryManoLove. This video is largely gonna be about Christina Hoff Summers' video "Feminists Ruin Feminism." Um, Basically, everything. This also kind of encompasses all the ideas that Christina Hoff Summers says when it comes to feminism. I don't think feminists ruin feminism as much as feminism ruins itself. The reason I say this is because if it wasn't for the loose definitions of feminism itself, it wouldn't be as corrupt as it is. For example, the Lucifer Effect, written by Philip Zimbardo, Dr. Philip Zimbardo, sociologist, psychologist, whatever you want to call him. It's all pretty much the same thing. But according to one of his ways, one of the 10 ways you can create a tyranny, and one of the 10 steps is, well, you gotta create an organization group, whatever, with a loose ideology, a elusive ideology. Well, with feminism, you already automatically do that. How do you measure social equality? Between the two genders, how do you measure social equality? We have two different needs. I mean, you cannot satisfy the needs of one without the other. You cannot satisfy the need of childbearing without the man and the woman themselves. And there are many other things, that physical limitations and other things that do occur between the genders. For example, it was found in a study for the Navy that women, a two-woman team that was carrying somebody back on a stretcher, only 14% of the women could actually complete it, and most of the men could. So they made it into a four person activity, which is actually a good idea. I mean, that's a good change that has occurred. But and I'm not saying that feminism has been responsible for all horrible things, but what I'm saying is feminism up till now has slowly been degraded by means of having a loose definition, and everybody's been able to interpret it into ecofeminism and equality feminism. I mean, like, Christina Summers seriously said that equality feminism is some kind of feminism, as though if feminism wasn't an idea for equality. So what is feminism about? I contend that feminism is all about tyranny. It's about degrading others. It's about taking away rights from all people, not just women, but men too. Or I meant vice versa, not just taking away rights from men, but women too. It's really a socialist thing if you really look into what's occurred. What really disturbs me is feminists never mentioned the contribution of the Freedmen's Bureau. The bureau that existed for 1 year after the Civil War, that opened up the floodgates of women to be educated for the first time in America. It wasn't the accomplishments of the suffrage movement that allowed women to get educated. No, and at this time, America is the forerunner for women being educated around the world. We had 40% of women by 1890 that were undergraduates in universities, and 10% that were already had their degrees. So I mean, this is a significant change from our European counterparts, and you can thank that to our first doctors and lawyers and politicians, elected governors, from the Freedmen's Bureau, because 50% of the women that came out of the Freedmen's Bureau were allowed to go to college because they were hailed as heroes. This is not a small, insignificant thing. This was a huge deal. And feminists say nothing of this. one of the things that the feminist majority video points out, what is a feminist, is one of the girls says individualistic is one of the ideals of feminism. Yes, feminists are very selfish. Feminism wants you to believe that the right of the individual is more important than the group, and it's the individual efforts what counts, and hear me roar and all these wonderful liberty inspiring things. But what it really comes down to is, I mean, it was a group of women that were allowed to go to the Freedmen's Bureau. It was an individual accomplishment, but anything you can link to a male effort and is somehow degrading and comes from a patriarchy or phallocentrism. I've never seen a penis be in charge, but phallocentrism, which is a dumb word. And the other thing is feminism. The word feminism wasn't even created until Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony were both dead. And then feminists want to say, oh, well, the first wave of feminism has to do with women's suffrage movement. It's like, wait a minute. The women's suffrage movement was before feminism was even formally created. Now, I'm not saying it didn't lead to feminism, but you can't say it is feminism. Exactly. I don't think it is anyways. And I don't think it fits the feminist ideal, because the feminist ideal says it's about social equality, but economic, social, and political equality, according to the feminist majority. But the social equality, how do you go about measuring that? How much does justice weigh? I mean, it's the same kind of logic. It's like, well, technically, as long as we're different genders of the same species, unless we're asexual and we can reproduce on our own or whatever, I mean, we're always going to be different. Nobody's going to be the same completely, 100%, and that's where the prejudice comes from, and there's always going to be gender issues. But the thing is, when it comes to Christina Hoff Summers, she says that Sharia law, she's down on the women, the feminists that don't support help people out in Saudi Arabia and Iran for going against the traditions of Sharia law. Excuse me? Are you serious? The problem is that you're going to get killed before you open your damn mouth in those countries, okay? It has nothing to do with, people not wanting to do something in those countries. It's just that there has to be a radical change. You have to probably put a military force in Zimbabwe and Iran before you can even begin to think of speaking out against those governments. It's not that easy unless the power of the people is so strong that they overthrow it themselves. So I don't see that happening in those countries that are so oppressive. Anyways, but I mean, don't get me wrong, Christina Hoff Summers, I think, has some great ideas, but some of them are just they're so off. And this is exactly what feminism gets away with. These ideas that are off and, this idealistic. This is what happens when you sit in an office too long and think about these things. And it's like, wouldn't it be great if you could, yeah, but in reality it doesn't work that way. And that's exactly my point with some of the points she was making. You can't be down on the women for trying to be a feminist in these countries when they really can't do anything. Hell, we have a hell of a time being diplomatic with these countries, let alone trying to change their political ideals that has a tradition of hundreds and hundreds of years of law that's surrounded by a Muslim culture, which they still are. So I mean, it's going to be a difficult change. Anyways, I sent the link. I added this link to the video that I'm referring to. Please write your comments down below. Give me 5 stars if you think this is worth watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.